What is going on, guys? Today we are going to be looking at all of the midfielder icons that you can get in FC24 and find out who you should get. So we will start off with the number one. Hullet is got 3 different versions. All of them are extremely expensive. One of them is an SBC. We have got the 89 Winter Wildcard. We've got the base Hullet, and we've also got the Centurions. So if we was to look at Hullet's price, if we go up here and we can obviously swap to the other screen, really should have a button that you can do this with. We've got the base at 2.4. We obviously have the 4 mil Centurions, and I believe the SBC, it doesn't show up here, which is always perfect, is 3 million as well. With Hullet, he is pretty much as close to endgame as you probably can get, especially, well, I suppose kind of not now. With the double Playstyle pluses, they've added another layer on top, but regardless of them, he's still going to be as good as you're going to get, especially for right now. When we do get a double Playstyle plus Hullet, naturally that is going to take over the reins, but it isn't necessarily the needed thing going forward. If you've spent all your coins on the Winter Wildcard or you've done the SBC, it's still definitely not the worst thing that you can do. I feel like what a lot of people will do at the moment, especially when Team of the Year come out, is panic and think, I need to get everybody with a double Playstyle plus. And yes, in 3-4 months, that is going to be a thing, especially kind of going to Team of the Season. But right now, it doesn't change a single thing. Them Team of the Years are going to be so difficult to pack. It's not going to be like everybody's running out with a full 11 of them. That's what thing you've got to remember. If then we look at someone like Abili, again, solid card, could definitely due with an upgrade very, very soon. At the moment, we're seeing her at a whopping 435. Still a 4-star. I think she definitely has some elements into the game. But the thing with the midfield, and definitely one thing I've learned, probably over the past 4 years more than anything, trying to play to a better competitive level, like in terms of just maybe getting into elite rather than necessarily going pro, definitely not, but in terms of going into the top of division, is you've got to have a balanced team. And naturally, if you was going to put someone like Abili and Veron together, I can tell you right now it isn't going to work. Hullet naturally can go with anybody, so he's just a bit of a cheat code, but I definitely think she has got a spot in people's teams. We will kind of go over a few of the non-negotiable. I think Veron, unfortunately, hasn't got any sort of version that really screams out to me. The one thing that we do have coming hopefully soon is apparently an icon evolution. Now, I'm going to stay away from the prejudgment, because naturally we saw this with a base hero was woeful. Naturally we're going to get evolutions for icons as the evolutions goes up, and they should fit into natural evolutions, but whenever they do a specific, it involves the lowest of cards, the Hadjis, the Gerards, the Verons, Scholes, Raquelme, nothing crazy of a player that if they give him a +2 or +3, he's still not going to be relevant. So don't always be swayed. I saw Lampard has gone up max price now at like 121. I think he's probably still up there at the moment. He's still very expensive at 120. So this is just absurd that he was literally, what was he? He was, as you can see here, coming in at 69,000 coins, and because of one evolution, the hype builds, naturally it could be good. It could be. It most definitely has got the option to not necessarily be like the hero, but I'm still not convinced yet. So I would still put a lot of these into the absolute low of the low. If I kind of go through what I don't personally like, I think Gattuso this year is off the pace. Gerard, for me, isn't necessarily up there. Hadji, now, Hadji's a funny one, because I do like Hadji's build at times, but he does have a very specific role, and again, it just depends. Base version, 4-star, we let off. That's decent enough at the very minimum. We then get 98,000. He's obviously got the stats kind of more towards your dribbling and passing more than anything. We do then have the 2 different versions from his 88, which is 94k, pretty similar to his base. There's not really a massive upgrade. If you do go alongside, for instance, if it was to look at the 90 in comparison to the 88, at the very minimum, we've got a double upgrade there, 83, not 83, 3 on the pace extra, 2 on everything else. Didn't get the 5-star, 4-star or anything like that. So it's kind of only just better, if you're really being honest. So I'd kind of go maybe something along the lines of that. It's not going to be great, but he will do. Then if we keep going, Loudrop, I'd probably go into the A. Who else is absolutely nothing? Raquelme's just been. I know he has, What did he get? Was it a left wing that he got, or was it a striker in his winter wild card? It was a striker, so again, 41k, not going to do much. Scholes, unfortunately, he is very much like a lot of the kind of Muller-esque players, just hasn't got that body for FIFA more than anything. I'd say Schweinsteiger's in there until he gets a cracked card upgrade. Xabi Alonso, could we argue for his Thunderstruck? He did get the full upgrade, and he's definitely not called Zabi. We've got the 89 coming in, 104, 3-star, 4-star. Did get a little pace increase, but even then, I can just think of so many centre mids that you could even just get from evolutions that are 10 times the card. I'm going to be brutal. I'm going to be absolutely brutal, because this is the whole point of this, is to not beat around the bush with them. A lot of these icons, and this was the problem, was they are pretty much in the mud. Straight off the bat, there is only like 10 to 15 icons that you'd actually even want from the get-go as well. Then we move down. Have we got anybody more? I think closer in a centre mid, we'll have a look at a closer look. Trezeguet wasn't awful, still not great. Ian Rush, you just doesn't have the body type whatsoever. So we've got a good basis. When we look at someone like Vieira, phenomenal value for the card. He is leaked to be coming as a beautiful team of the year, so naturally we are going to get an upgrade. I can imagine with these team of the years, if we looked at someone like Van der Sar, who I'll show you in a second, well, I can just tell you, he only got a +1 last year from his prime to his team of the year, so it's not like we're getting a team of the year Vieira, like 96 rated. They're just going to be a standard upgrade. I can imagine a 91 potentially for someone like Vieira. Get him up there a little bit, because then they need to give room for the footies icons, for shapeshifter icons later on down the line that are going to be at that 97 to 99 rated. But Vieira is always a class act. 1.4 mil, worth every penny. Matthias is another one exactly the same. Incredible value from him. Again, another one that is due an upgrade soon. We haven't seen anything, because what we've had, Centurions, we've had Thunderstruck, Ultimate Dynasty, and Winter Wildcard. Team of the year to come. We normally see some sort of FUT birthday, which would be nice. So there is plenty of icons coming soon. But with this double Playstyle Plus, it kind of just takes away a lot of these cards straight off the bat, especially anybody under S. I'd say S plus you could still argue with, because they've still got some really meta ability about them, whereas anybody under, they are just going to be swarmed if the Playstyle pluses are good, because they can give you press proven and first touch. It doesn't say that they're going to have 2 incredible Playstyle pluses, it just is a double Playstyle plus, so it will be interesting to see where that does go. So then, if we carry on, we have got Balak as a double version as well. We've got the 87 and also the 88, which the 88 was an SBC? No, he wasn't. Was he? No, he wasn't. He was. He definitely was. He was. 378,000 coins. We managed to actually not get the extra upgrade, which is a shame for him. And I think that was the problem with a lot of the upgrade SBCs. For instance, like a De Jong, like Balak, and another one that I can't remember. It was Depay who did get it. If they didn't get the upgrade, especially as an icon, it's just a +1 upgrade. So realistically, when we look at the difference between Balak's Thunderstruck and this one, if there's no good playstyle difference, there's no good weak foot or skill move upgrade, it's just an inform at a minimum. It's 2s and 1s across the board. We've got Power Shot on the first one, we've got Power Shot on the second, still both a 4-star, 4-star. So there is no real reason, if you did guess to go and do the Thunderstruck, that you could have just gone with the normal base. Now in terms of these two, I would like to put both of them in A. I think he was close. If he got the 89, I potentially would have pushed him up, but due to the fact that he didn't, I'm going to keep him in the A for the moment. Then we have got some absolute massive hitters. We have got Zidane's all versions, absolutely phenomenal. Like Hullet, all versions are incredible. They all are a 5-star, 5-star as well. So if we was to have a quick look at them, they are just all brilliant cards. So we've naturally got the SBC one at 1.6. I think that's very good value for a 5-star, 5-star Zidane so early on in the game. Then we obviously have his base, incredible, and then we have the 95, which is 2.2 mil, which is actually isn't awful. 94 now coming in at 1.4. Very good value for Zidane. We also then have Pele. Pele is an absolute monster in the game. Does have a 96 striker, but he can't play into that cam role, so, or can he? He might be able to. Oh no, he can, but I suppose he is striker, so we'll go with the normal cam. We've tried to keep everybody bar from Hullet in there. Naturally, he is kind of more of the centre mid. I do like Pele's his new card into that striking bonus anyway, but Pele is Pele. He's always S+. We also then have a Zico. I think Zico is a phenomenal act. He's a brand new card into the game, and he most definitely came with a very good upgrade. I must admit, was kind of looking forward to Romario. Kind of another striker that you could have got other than R9 who could have been absolutely nuts. But if we get him in the next edition of FC, would be not mad whatsoever. But Zico is leaked to potentially come as an SBC. I believe it's between him and somebody else that's Brazilian. I can't remember who it is. It might have been Jarzinho, I think. The Centurions upgrade, because we had Eusebio. There is a leak of another one, and it is Brazilian. So I think the only two Centurions are Zico or Jarzinho. I'm kind of hoping for Zico. I know it's another midfielder, but that would be nuts if you could have both of them. You could have Zico and Zidane, both 5'5", both 92, both incredible in the game, which would be absolutely brilliant anyway. If we did then look at Socrates, he is again another great Brazilian. He's kind of that, you've got R9, you've then got Pele, you've got Ronaldinho, you've then got Kaká's upgraded card, not his base. Socrates is in the middle there. Naturally, defenders, you got Alberto, Cafu, Roberto Carlos. But if you're looking more at the attacking side, Rivaldo's kind of at the lowest end. So he is part of a very elite group of icons regardless. So it's very hard to kind of put him in there. I believe he might be linked to go into the icon evolution as well, because naturally, 240, that could be a good card that could go in. But whether he can go in is the next question. This is all speculation of leaks. We have seen them wrong. But he is a 4-star, 5-star, phenomenal Brazilian act. And if he can go into that icon evolution, then that is going to be fantastic in himself. 240 value, which before he was 120k. If you manage to have just one in your club, I don't know why you're randomly just putting icons in there, but if you did manage, then that is a big GG for you there. Literally 130k profit just off a whim. We might as well keep with the Brazilian theme. We have got Kaká's both versions. We've got his 89 and a lovely 91, which did make it so much more worth it. The fact that you can obviously have him as an 89 and a 91. You've got 415 on his base, still coming in 5-star, 4-star, rapid playstyle plus, great attributes on the card. He isn't everybody's cup of tea, which I was very surprised at. He isn't necessarily the go-to for everybody. I really like Kaká in his card. I like skillers. Brazilian icons are always going to be most people's favorites, as there is probably only Rivaldo and Socrates that you wouldn't know from name as such. Maybe, yes, you might not know who Cafu... Well, I know. I'd say Carlos Alberto you probably don't know. Cafu was relatively recent-ish. I'm talking 20 years, but I mean, he relatively is closer than Carlos Alberto. I don't even know the era that Alberto played in. But when we look at Kaká, he's a 5-star, 4-star, still got the rapid. It is just, unfortunately, a double upgrade as such, but still puts him at a very, very top-end level. Now, in terms of CDMs, we've got a kind of a bunch of the... I'd say the medium tier. So we've got someone like Petit, we've got Rijkaard, we've got Makalele, and we've also got Essien. I'm a big fan of Essien. He's going to go into my S. Rijkaard is definitely close to him, but I'd say he's going to fall under the A category now. Personally, just because I feel like he's slowly slipping away from the meta. This is where an icon evolution would have been good for him to keep him at a good level. It's not going to be top, but he's going to be good. Unfortunately, he isn't leaked to be able to because of that passing. So it will be interesting to see where we go with him. Petit, I'd say, is on that same sort of level. And I'd say Makalele is probably going to be into more of the S, if anything, because naturally he is slightly better on that version of the Centurions, even if it is just a +1. It's slightly better. He's definitely fallen, and I'd say he'd be next to go underneath. Essien is just a solid unit in the CDM, whereas Makalele has always been just that one step under in terms of in-game. You can look at stats all you want, but in-game, I think the 3-star does affect him. Whereas obviously the block playstyle plus as well, I personally like the block to some aspect, but it's not necessarily my favourite CDM trait. And naturally we have got the 4-star weak foot on Essien as well, which is just an extra benefit anyway. We then move into Bobby Charlton. Bobby Charlton is phenomenal. I'm waiting for that upgrade. That first upgrade for him will be absolutely brilliant. He's 1.23 mil still at the moment. The 4-star, 5-star, whether we see him as a foot birthday Bobby Charlton, 5-star, 5-star like 94, 95, that could sell a promo easy. I'm yet to really have loads of games with him. We've played like a handful at the start to see how good he actually was. And that's really about it. We haven't seen him, we haven't packed him, so I'm waiting for that either SBC, Foot Birthday Edition Extra, to really get my mitts on him for a lot more of a game. We've only kind of just had scraped the surface with him really, so again, another phenomenal card that we can get. We then have Roy Keane. So Roy Keane is a funny one because I like his card to some extent, but definitely right now, the value is just dropping on him massively. We look at the base, we've got 69,000, which again is probably going to be standard. 2-star, 3-star is not going to be enough. We do get the added bonus of a free with his 88, but even then, I'm not a massive fan. I think he would be more towards in that lower A tier at the moment, and then the 86 would definitely come in under. A 2-star, 3-star is just not going to be enough to be able to put into that midfield. We then have the final female in Sour, a lovely Japanese centimid at 91 rated. Phenomenal value for 718, 4-star, 4-star. Again, this is where the balance in the midfield comes in, because I think in terms of her attributes, you're not going to really put her with a Bealey. Both of them together are very similar cards. They're both more passing orientated, kind of getting that dribbling down. Decent amount of pace, but nothing crazy. Obviously with Sour, she has got more of the attacking option, whereas a bit, well, in fact, no, to be fair, both of them are. I thought Sour was more of the attacking, or was it the other way around? Let's try and compare them both. 89, yeah, okay. Oh. If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders. I don't know why I always thought a Bealey was more of the defense, not necessarily the defensive side, but more box to box. Whereas actually she's got the 89 shooting. Where is the difference between them? So we've got positioning, shot power. Oh, okay, there we go. Look, that's a big difference in shot power. Volleys I don't really care about. She ain't volleying that much. Long shots, again, there's arguments. To be honest, it's both of them with the finishing side of stuff. That's where I'd kind of imagine them to be. But I do think both of them are in that topper bracket. They are starting to slip in terms of cams because, like we say, we've got a lot of top end already. So naturally, they are going to start falling without an upgrade on themselves as well. Perlo, another card, absolutely brilliant in terms of actual career. In-game, little bit dead, not gonna lie. I'd kind of go the bottom end Perlo just at one step. I'd say he's on a low A. There isn't really a spot for him. Like we said with a lot of them, he's got the decent passing, the dribbling, but realistically that's all he's got. So without necessarily anything more to give, any more pace, anything like that, just does not work on this card at all. Baggio, I'd kind of go with a similar aspect, even though I did like his kind of attacking play. You whack a hunter, he does alright, still going to be on that lower side as well. Seedorf, I am surprised we haven't had an upgrade for him. I feel like he is screaming for one. He's currently coming in at 94,000 coins. He's got himself the 4-4. He was a dangerous attacker in other games. Now it just seems to be less of a player, and naturally it might be just purely down to the basis that we did have the base mid prime before, so we kind of got the upgrades when we already knew that we were getting the upgrades sort of thing. Now we've got to wait for them. There is cards on this list that just don't have them. We look at Xavi, hasn't got one. If we look at somebody like Schweinsteiger, just doing my maths and doing my checks before we check, I'm pretty sure he hasn't got one. Knew it all along. Baggio doesn't have one, so we are waiting for their next arrival, and that normally kind of adds a little bit of value to them, but unfortunately we'll go in the bottom tier right now. Xavi, as well, like Perlo, he needs an upgrade. He needs some pace. He's decent enough on the passing and dribbling, but if that's all you've got to offer, we're in a point now where the teams are getting stacked already. Naturally, like I said, the progression will continue, but we need better players in them icons now, and that's going to be the problem for a lot of these. then we've pretty much just got the winter wildcards left. I like a lot of these. I think they are decent enough. They're a decent position change. We've gone from striker, centre forward, striker, striker, centre forward, left wing or slash striker, and striker. You can kind of guess where they were going with that. Strikers become CDM, centre mids or cams. Defenders become wingers. It's just a whole load of mess in terms of them. We did get a lot of strikers that go wingers as well. But naturally, we needed something better from them. They just kind of went with a blueprint of a player and just like copied it like mad straight off the bat. But in terms of all of these, we've got 2 of them being SBCs. I think we've got Del P, we've got him, we've got Trezeguet as the SBCs. Both of them are coming in, if we find them. Trezeguet, well, Del P's coming in at 671. Fair enough. It's kind of a nice-ish price. And then we've got Trezeguet at 115. Very good price. If I was looking at them, I'd kind of go Del P S. I'd go Trezeguet middle to top-ish A. He plays well, but he's not necessarily my go-to sort of centre mid. We then have the rest. We have got a Van Basten, who, to be honest, is useless as a striker, so he may as well try out a kind of thing in that sort of cam role. 4-star, 4-star, which is always nice. The big thing with a lot of these cards is they still kept a lot of their shooting, so realistically, we whack a hunting on them, and they kind of go back to normal-ish. With Closer, naturally, he's kind of dropped his shooting massively as a CDM. I still don't think he's necessarily going to be that viable as an option. 213k, so he sits himself in the middle of A. Stoichkov has always had a great body type, and I think sometimes that is kind of what they forget is they can move somebody anywhere, but if they're clunky, if they're just stuck in the mud, they don't necessarily have the pace, it doesn't matter what you do to them, they still have that in game without changing the whole aspect of him. Agility, balance, composure, pace, acceleration, and sprint speed. Then the defending has to be of a good upgrade to make them worth it. They're going up against actual CDMs. So if you've already got yourself somebody like a Yaya Toure and a Ramirez partnership, Closer ain't coming close. It's not going to happen. Same with Shearer. I think, to be honest, with Shearer, you more than likely would just go back into a striker with him. He's got the 4-star, 4-star, which is just brilliant. And naturally, like literally, we put him in here, 171k, got himself a little bit of an upgrade. We see 5 paces lost. Gained, which is fine. We've gained lost 1 shooting and gained a bit of passing, lost 5 dribbling. Well, he was a 3-star anyway, so we could just go with the Hunter on him, get him to 95 pace, 95 shooting. That's still a decent striker. He has got the composure down to a T. You might as well just do that rather than putting him in a midfield that just isn't going to work. So, naturally. Bergkamp, I'd stay the same. And to be honest, Van Basten, he's lucky not to be in the B category. That's going to be my icon midfielders. Let me know down below what you think about them. And we'll come back when we have a new set of midfielders. Take care. Peace.